What's up today, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Zach, and today we are continuing our Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Let's Play with our 12th episode. So today's episode is going to be a little different. I didn't realize until after the episode was done that my audio didn't record. So sad. So I'm going back and narrating this episode for you all. And at the moment, we're getting harassed by a blood moon and a, what is the big guy called? A goblin? No, he's I don't know, man. To me, he's a hobgoblin, and the other things are just regular goblins. But yeah, so just like the other episodes we're doing right now, we are on our way to collect a couple of memories and then go do a side quest. So the memory we're on our way to is just right up here at the top of this hill. Oh, and look at this cool dragon. I'm pretty sure this is the first dragon I ever ran into, which I think I ran into off camera after like episode 2 or 3. But here we are at our memory, and let's see what Link remembers now. So I got thinking about this, right? Like, Link has to look at, or he doesn't have to, but he looks at the photo, and then that jogs his memory. And if that's the case, then like, why does he even go to the location? You would think, the photo could tell us, oh, hey, go there. But like, wouldn't looking at the photo or just being at the place re-jog his memory, not having to do both? But let's be quiet for this cutscene.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. How'd everything go up there on the mountain?
So you didn't feel anything? No power at all?
Sorry.
Then let's move on. You've done all you could. Feeling sorry for yourself won't be of any help. After all, it's not like your last shot was up there on Mount Linear. Anything could finally spark the power to seal Ganon away. We just have to keep looking for that thing.
That's kind of you. Thank you.
If I may, I thought you, well, I'm not sure how to put this into words. I'm actually quite embarrassed to say it. But I was thinking about what I do when I'm feeling. You know, what usually goes through my mind. It helps when I think about...
So do you all think what she's talking about is Link? Do you think it helps her whenever she's healing to think about Link? The way the cutscene looked at Link before she started saying that made me think that. But now we see Ganon harassing Hyrule Castle. And I guess that means that this is the start to the end. Sadly. Because as far as I remember, we have not seen a memory after this. Like, that takes place after this. Or at least that I feel like takes place after this,
We're gonna need everything we got to take that thing down. Now, champions,
Yes.
divine beasts, show that swirling swine who's boss. Link will need to meet Ganon head on when we attack. This needs to be a unified assault. Little guy, you
I like that he calls us little guy. That's great.
can count on us for support, but it's up to you to pound Ganon into oblivion.
Come, we should go. We need to get you someplace safe.
No. I'm not a child anymore. I may not be much use on the battlefield. But there must be something I can do to help.
And that's, I guess this is when we go into battle, right? Like, okay, well, after that, we immediately took off to this next area. Because I recognized the photo, at least the angle we needed to be at to figure it out. So I ended up over here. And we got this memory, which I love this memory. This one, I think, is my favorite out of all the memories we've seen so far. So, Link realizes, hey, this is one of the memory spots. He gets out his thing, and what does he remember? Let's find out. Okay, so him and Zelda are in the grass, checking out some flowers.
Aren't just beautiful. They are also quite useful as ingredients for a variety of things. This one here is called the Silent Princess. It's a rare, endangered species. Despite our efforts, we can't get them to grow domestically yet. The princess can only thrive out here, in the wild. All that we can hope is that the species will be strong enough to prosper on its own.
Oh, and then she seen something, and I think Link's totally checking out her butt.
Look at this! I don't believe it, but I actually caught one.
What has she got?
Known to have very, very potent effects under
It's a frog.
circumstances. Ta-da! Research from the castle shows ingesting one of these can actually augment.
I love this.
We wouldn't be in a controlled environment out here, but with your level of physical fitness, you'd be a perfect candidate for the study. Go on.
You just gotta taste the frog, guys. Come on. Taste the frog and get powers. Okay, so now that we have this memory, we are off to our side quest. And we are going to Terrytown, I think is what it's called. And one of the guys that helped us build our house is here. And he's the guy giving us all of our missions for today. So we come over here and we talk to him. And he tells us that he needs some stuff. Which one of the things he needs is some help breaking up these rocks with some brute strength. And he recommends a Goron for that. So he sends us off to the Goron area to find a Goron. But because he has to be as difficult as possible, he requests that the Goron, its name, ends in sun. So we gotta find a Goron with sun. And that had me thinking, like, what if the tribe or species or whatever the heck you want to break up the citizens of Hyrule into, what if they don't use that in their names? But off that tangent, once I got to the Goron's little town area, I just ran around talking to everybody. If I couldn't see their name, I talked to them. If I could see their name, I just checked it. A lot of Gorons got really freaked out by me, apparently, or by their faces. I did not read a single word any of them said. But after looking around a while, I knew that there was a bunch of extra mines and stuff around the Goron area. So once I realized there was no one in town by the name, I started running around to all the outside areas. And it took me a while to find it, because there's a bunch of random stuff around. Like, right now I'm looking at this little cave entrance, but after that, I found a shrine. And this shrine is kind of cool. I don't know. It kind of got on my nerves by the end of it. So there was this wooden tote up on a thing, and I broke it, which caused the weights to lower it down so I could get the key. So that part was fairly simple. Then the key let me get in here to these metal boxes, and I just had to use the magnet ability with these boxes once I was able to get them out of the bars, and push down the scales to the way it needed to be. Well, I made this mistake here where I put it over here and it raised the other one up all the way, which made it kind of difficult to bring it back down so I could actually mess with it. But after some fighting with the other block, I eventually pried it down and got everything kind of balanced out. When we started to raise up, not quite as high as we needed, but we got there. And then at the top, of course, the old guy up here gave me another orb, which gives us plenty enough to get another heart, which I don't think I do until after the episode's over. But then, continuing down the road from there, I found the Southern Mine. and I seen this adorable little guy and talked to him, and immediately realized he has the name that we need. Well, obviously, he's a little young for helping us, so he pointed us in the direction of his brother, which is Grayson. And Grayson was complaining about how boring working in the mines every day was. So, once we mentioned, hey, you want to go smash some rocks somewhere different? He was all down for it. So he grabbed his little brother, and they took off to Terrytown. And I just can't help but think that his little brother looks like a Pokemon to me. If you just like erased the logo off his helmet and put him in a Pokemon game, I would believe you. So, after getting the Goron, I needed more wood. So, I ended up over in the little valley by Terrytown, battling these stupid guardians, and actually did pretty good with them. Then, I went on a tree murder spree, which you're about to see in just a second. So as I was murdering all these trees, I kept freaking breaking all of my swords, which has me very sad because I was kind of trying to collect stuff for our next episode when I think we go and fight Ganon next. I believe that's our plan for next episode. We're going to grab the last couple of memories and then make our way to Hyrule Castle. And now we've murdered enough trees and are on our way back over to Terrytown, doing it the most complicated way we probably could have. And here we are. So now, because after all their construction work, their clothes are getting a little messed up. So he sent us to the Garudas. And so my first thought was, the clothing store ladies that we dealt with in the last episode. Well, neither of them, sadly, start with or end with sun. So we continue to look around. I just start running around to everyone in Garuda Town, trying to find anyone with sun in their name. And it kind of doesn't go well. After looking around to most people, I remember that, we were eavesdropping on some ladies talk about clothes. Maybe one of them is connected, right? No, none of them are named Sun either. So, looking around some more, I found a crying kid, which I didn't want to deal with right now. Found this lady that couldn't see her name, and realized at this point, I don't think there's anyone in town with Sun in their name. Well, sadly, I get stuck talking to this lady for a minute, and she won't let me leave. I'm just smacking the B button, trying to run away from her, because I have things to do, but she wanted to ramble. Well, we finally get away. I double-checked them, but realized that there's no way it's either of them two that's name is right. Checked the jewelry store ladies. Nope, none of them. And at this point, I realized it has to be out of town. But I was going to borrow a sand seal and surf over there, but I don't have a shield. So I tried talking to this lady. She wouldn't give it to me. So I looked over here just to double check, make sure none of these people are it. At this point, I'm tired of looking for this one, so I'm double checking the internet to figure out where she is. Because I know she's obviously not in town, but I don't want to do a bunch of running around. And figure out that she's over at the little outpost area. So I go to sneak up on the sill, and yeah, no shield. So this lady won't sell me one because she's stupid. Doesn't sell shields apparently. But her friend over here that actually does all the selling, yeah, she'll sell me a shield for 50 rupees. So we talk to her for a second, get a shield, and get a stand seal. And then we're on our way. So riding the sand seal across the desert, slightly getting beat up by the cold air, and realized I was going in the wrong direction. But now that I'm here talking to her, she doesn't want anything to do with me while I'm dressed as a girl. So I decide, as any rational person would, to take off all my clothes, and then she loves me. She has a full conversation. We tell her about this town on the other side of the freaking country, and she's like, yeah, I'll go hang out with you there. So she's off. So there you go, guys. If you need help talking to ladies, just talk to them in your underwear. It works every time. So, after all that, we were on our way back to Terrytown. to see what our buddy needs from us this time. And wow, we have 3 houses here now. It's coming along, ain't it? So, what does our friend need from us today? He needs a general store. Oh, and he recommends the bird people, the Ritos. So, after we get done talking to him, we pop over to the Ritos and find this guy very quickly. He was just right there. Flyson? That's how I'm reading his name at least. He tells us about that his mom wants him to take over the family store, but he doesn't really want to do that. You know, he wants to make a name for himself, not just kind of mooch off of her. So, we tell him, hey, we know a good place for you to open up a store, and you won't impact your mother's business. So, what do you say? And he thinks it sounds perfect, and he agrees to go help us in Terrytown. And as he's on his way, he's going to collect stuff to sell. He is kind of upset that it's so far away, but he likes the idea of starting fresh. So, now he is off to Terrytown to join our army? It's not really an army. Join our village. So, after this guy takes off, I have to go on another slight tree murder spree. But it's not as bad. Yeah, he needs 50 wood, which I was not prepared for when he said that. And I was kind of angry at this point. I was like, dude, you've had me do so much running around. So we go back down to that little valley, murder some more trees. I think I've leveled like half this area now, if they haven't respawned yet. I really couldn't tell you. Luckily, the Guardians didn't respawn yet, so I didn't have to deal with them this time. I was starting to run out of swords, so it was time to start, you know, using the bombs the best way to cut down a tree. Just blow it up. So, boom, boom. My beautiful boomerang broke, and I loved that thing. I thought it was so cool. But now I have like 62 wood or something like that, and come back and talk to our buddy, and he's like, excellent. You're such a lifesaver, blah, blah, blah. And then he tells us that he's getting married. To who? Well, of course, it's the woman he sent us to go find. So I think he just requested us to go find him a wife, not actually to find someone that could do with clothes. But we'll let it slide for now. So we need a preacher. And he recommends Zora as a preacher. So once we get there, I head straight up to the king's area and find this guy immediately. And he tells us that he's a retired preacher guy, and he's kind of bored and looking for something to do. So, he agrees to help us out over at Terrytown. So after talking to him for a minute and telling him all the details, he heads off to Terrytown very slowly. Yes, very, very slowly. So, after all that, we come back and talk to our guy with his weird haircut, and he tells us there's one more thing to do. And at this point, I'm thinking he wants more wood. And I'm just like, dude, I don't have the weapons to cut down any more trees. But no, he needs his friends, his boss, and his coworker to come to his wedding. Well, his boss doesn't seem super into it. Like, he seems kind of like proud that this guy's getting married. But he doesn't really seem interested in going all the way. But after some talking and convincing, he finally agrees, and him and the coworker make their way off to Terrytown. And I'm just glad to have these 2 creepy guys off my front yard. So, I come back over to Terrytown, and the dude tells me he has one more thing he needs. But luckily, it's just to stay the night in Terrytown, and the next day will be the wedding. So, luckily, it's nothing too major, and I just get a free stay in the hotel over here. So, after going and sleeping to the next morning, it's time for the wedding. So, the wedding's your pretty typical thing. You know, husband, do you take her in sickness and health and blah, 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 blah. The wife, same thing. Let the goddess Hylia smile upon you. And then he throws in the weird side thing, which is their kid has to have their name end in son. Well, the wife seems kind of weirded out by it and is not sure how she feels. But everybody else in town loves the idea, apparently. So it eventually convinces her, even though she still doesn't look super happy about it. But everything seems like it's going to work out. they're going to get married, and hopefully it all goes well. So that's pretty much it for today's little side quest. And the end of the wedding. Ta-da! Congratulations. And that is how Terrytown came to be. So, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, even though it was kind of odd since I went back and just summarized everything and talked to you all afterwards. But if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated and helps me out tremendously. And in the next episode, we're going to get the last couple of memories and take out Ganon. So, I'll see you guys next time. Later. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, why not like and subscribe? It really helps me out. And don't forget to hit that bell so that you get notified anytime I post a new video. If you enjoyed this one, why not check out this video or this video? And I'll see you guys in whatever we do next. Later.